It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
What's good? 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 These guys know sports. Yeah. These guys know sports. These guys know.
And welcome to Wise Guys. These guys know sports here on this beautiful Friday, July the 10th. Another day on the Wise Guys show with Mr. Clarence Dixon. What's up, Clarence? Clarence?
Oh, man, my bad, man. Happy Friday. How you doing today, man? My bad. I'm tripping. But how you doing today?
You okay, man. You doing all right. You good, man. How you doing? You doing all right? You good?
Man, it looks like you catching up on the beer game, man. I'm trying to catch up, man. You know?
Yeah, I'm looking rough, man. I need a cut badly, bro. I'm looking like a werewolf over here, man. It's the yeah, man. The coronavirus really is affecting my haircut appointments and all kind of stuff, man. It's just crazy.
Corona edition, man.
Yes, sir, man. Everybody remember go and follow Wise Guys on Twitter at WiseGuys_H. Also on Facebook, Wise Guys. And be sure to follow Wise Guys on Instagram at These Guys Know Sports. We got an action jam-packed show today. We're going to talk about Kawhi Leonard. There are reports that Kawhi Leonard will not be traveling with the Clippers to Disney World. Also, Kenny the Jet Smith. He says LeBron James is the 10th best player of all time. Me and Clarence will give you our thoughts on that as well. And also, Cincinnati Bengals offensive coordinator Brian Callahan had some comments on Joe Burrow, who Clarence believes is a Hall of Famer. But we'll get into that later on the show. Let's start off in the NFL. As earlier in the week, the NFL, they banned jersey swaps from the players because of the coronavirus. And they said no media in the locker room, no interactions after the game, pre-screening before entering the facility. If the temperature is over 100.4, then they're not prohibited to enter the facility. Fans won't be able to tailgate outside of the stadium. And the first 8 rows are blocked off in each stadium. So as we open up the show today on the Worldwide Sports Network, Clarence, do you agree with these protocols that the NFL has handed down?
I hate it. My bad. Excuse me if I used the word hate, but I don't like.
You can hate them. If you hate them, you hate them. You can hate it.
I hate them. Are you right? I hate them. I hate the protocols, but the protocols is so hypocritical, though, because it's so hypocritical because these football players are tackling each other, and slamming each other, touching each other when they're on the field. They're not playing two-hand tag. They are tackling. So whatever like protocol they got to go through it's ridiculous. And some of the protocol I agree with, though, Trey. I do agree with, like, no media in the room because you got to think about it. You've been tackling other guys, and then when you get done from your game and stuff, you're so worn out. The media come in there asking questions. They circling around you. They all in your practice space, and it's like, hey, I really need a mask on because I really can't breathe around y'all. But these protocols are to keep us fans and football players safe. But at the same time, I don't agree with them banning the jerseys because I always thought it was traditional. And here's the kickstart. When players swap jerseys, it get added to their salary, it get added to the team salary, or the owner will charge them $500 or more because of the jersey swap. So they feel like if they keep giving away their jersey, they're giving away all the money. They're giving away all the money, and they got to get charged for that because they're losing money. And they on top of that, 35% of their salary is getting taken away so it can cover for COVID-19. It's just all one big mess. First, you ain't getting your contract, and then you can't even interact with your boys after the game. It's just like they're on a restricted area. And I even had a source. They even said that the coach has got to be 6 feet away from his players when he's coaching. Ridiculous, man. Mr. Lark is ridiculous.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. And the fact that the NFL is even trying to pull this off, I just think it's crazy because I think they need to just be honest and say, hey, we want to make some money. That's what it's all about, Clarence. Make no mistake about it. This is about money and the dollar bill. And what's going on is these NFL owners, they don't want their quality of life to be compromised. That's why they're willing to have a season and put in these protocols to try to basically, manage the coronavirus as much as they can amongst the NFL players. But this is a National Football League. These are where players are going to be around each other. They're going to be interacting with each other, coaches, players. It's going to happen. Players are going to get the coronavirus, period. Here's what my thing for the NFL. How's the NFL going to react when, let's knock on wood, let's say Lamar Jackson or Aaron Rodgers or Patrick Mahomes, what if one of them get the virus? Then that's going to affect the quality of play. That's going to affect the team that's playing that week, whoever the player is that gets injured. So those are things that the NFL has to keep in mind. But the NFL, they just all about money. They trying to find a way to be able to make some money, because if we're being perfectly honest, there is no way to be able to manage this coronavirus basically happening in the NFL. It's going to happen. Players are going to catch the virus. Either you shut the season down completely and say there's no football at all, or you try to put in these protocols to try to pretend as if you care or you're trying to manage the disease. But I think these NFL owners and Roger Goodell, real quick, they just care about making their money, and that's the most important thing to them right now.
Yeah, I agree with you. And son, what you just said about what if these star players catch the coronavirus, is they automatically going to miss the game? Because, in my opinion, or in some procedures, it takes 2 weeks. You have to self quarantine yourself for 2 weeks now. And in a 2 week span, that's 2 games right there played right then and there. So my biggest question is, well, what to the owners, even Roger Goodell, if one of these players catch the coronavirus, do they have to automatically sit for 2 games because that's how long the coronavirus can even go away out of their system?
Right. And then think about this. What if Patrick Mahomes or Aaron Rodgers or Lamar Jackson or Deshaun Watson contracted the disease? That means they're gonna have to sit out maybe for 1 or 2 weeks, like you just said, which affects your ratings. We all know the reason why we watch these primetime games when it comes to the NFL. We watch them because of the quarterbacks. We want to see the Patrick Mahomes going up against Lamar Jackson. We want to see Aaron Rodgers going up against Tom Brady, Drew Brees going up against Deshaun Watson. It's what we want to see. And if your star quarterbacks are contracting the disease and they have to miss games, that's going to affect your bottom line when it comes to ratings. Because people are going to say, what's the point of even watching the Kansas City Chiefs if Patrick Mahomes is not playing? Most people are going to write them off and say they're not going to win this week, even though they did just win a Super Bowl, and we know how electrifying that offense is. We don't want to see Matt Moore. We don't want to see Matt Moore. That's just not what we want to see. So the ratings are going to be impacted by the coronavirus if some of these major key players catch the disease.
And that's another thing too, because I read a couple of articles and sources that the NFL was open to shortening the season. So do you think that's the best decision for them to do, is shorten the season?
To be honest, Clarence, I don't have all the answers, but the only thing I can tell you is
your opinion on it. It's
I know. I was about to give you my opinion. Slow your roll. The only thing I can say is that this is inevitable. It's inevitable that these players are going to contract the coronavirus. There's no way around it. Unlike the NBA, the NFL, they can't just play in a bubble. It's not possible. It's too many players on each team. Too many players on each play. Each play on the football field, there are 22 players. On most rosters, there are over 50 players on game day. So it's just too many moving parts and too many coaches, players, and people on the training staff as well. They are a part of this as well. So it's just too many moving parts. And like I said, the NFL, they trying to make their money. They want to figure out a way to not compromise their quality of life. These NFL owners, Jerry Jones, Mike Brown, you name them, Robert Kraft, they all are about their dollar bills. I told you this on one of our shows before on the Worldwide Sports Network, that they want to win football games, but a lot of these owners prioritize their money even over winning football games. Case in point with Mike Brown, the Bengals owner. For years, Mike Brown has robbed Bengal fans of their dollar bill because he wasn't trying to put the Bengals in position to win football games. He wasn't trying to make necessary changes to the culture for the Bengals to be relevant until I would say within the last maybe 10 years, because he brought in Marvin and Marvin changed the culture. Or maybe I would say probably the last 15 years, because Marvin was with the Bengals for multiple years. But I'm just saying they care about the dollar bill. Period.
Yeah. Funny that you brought up the owners like having all this big money. And my thing is this: when they're taking a 35% out of these players' salaries, where are they putting that against to? Where are they putting that to use? Is they holding on the money, or is they putting it to foundations? That's like the questions, like fundings to help with the COVID-19 because it affected. What are they doing with that extra money that's benefiting them or the fans or even the players? Like, it's a lot of questions into that topic. But
yeah,
these protocols is for safety concerns, and if this the best thing to do, because it's either this or it's no season. So I think that we should just give it a chance instead of just blowing it off. We could be upset, but we just have to give it a chance.
See, I disagree. If you don't really have all the answers and you don't have it all figured out, I don't want to give it a chance. Because what's going to happen if we're in week 6 or week 7 and there's a spread with the coronavirus amongst all the NFL players? I don't want to stop the season. I don't want to get my hopes up to think we're going to have a full, complete season and they got to stop everything and shut it down like the NBA had to. I want to make sure we can get through the entire season. So I feel like if we can't for sure know, if not, we're going to get through the whole entire season. I don't even want to start the season. I don't even want to have a preseason, nothing. Just let me know now. Let me know now that I won't have my football. I was actually reading a meme earlier on Facebook, Clarence, and I'm gonna send it to you after we get done with the show. And it was a couple laying in bed, and the girlfriend, she had a thought in her head like that. I guess she was thinking something in her. It was like a pop up in her head, and she was saying like what her boyfriend is thinking. Like, I wonder what he's thinking about or what's on his mind. And he thinking about, I wonder if they're going to cancel the football season this year. That's what us men and us football fans, that's what we're thinking about. We're thinking about whether or not we're going to get a chance to even have football, while our girlfriends is wondering what we're eating for dinner tomorrow and stuff like that. But just overall, man, like I said, I don't even want the season to start if we can't finish it. I'd rather us just cancel the season now, and I'll just find me something else to do this fall.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. Hey, let's move on, though, man. Let's move on. Before we do that, everybody remember to go follow Wise Guys on Facebook, Wise Guys, Instagram, These Guys Know Sport, and Twitter, Wise Guys _OH. And also, give us a subscribe button on our YouTube page at Wise Guys. And you are live watching. We are live on a worldwide sports radio network. Let's move on to the next one, though, Trey. So, earlier in the week, we seen Kawhi Leonard. We seen sources that Kawhi Leonard is not traveling with the Clippers to Disney World in Orlando, Florida. And the Athletic, they are very concerned about his health. So my question is for you, though, Trey. Should the LA Clippers be more concerned about Kawhi Leonard's health?
I say no. And I'm going to tell you why. Because the Clippers, they are going to be in the playoffs. Those 8 games that the NBA is going to play when they return, those games are for the Clippers to get back into the flow of the game, build up their chemistry back up, and so forth. But when it comes to Kawhi Leonard, I believe the Clippers have to understand that they're trying to win a championship. And if you're trying to win a championship, you want Kawhi Leonard as close to 100% as possible. I will admit, the only issue I have with this is, Kawhi, you've been off for the last 5 months. What the hell is going on? Like, it shouldn't be no health concerns. But when it comes to the Clippers, I believe they should understand that as long as Kawhi's there, when the regular season is officially over and we officially start the playoffs and he's ready to go, I believe they should understand what he brings to the table and the caliber player that he is and the kind of player that can lead them to a championship. If you remember, last year with the Toronto Raptors, Kawhi had multiple games where he missed during the regular season. He didn't play a full 82 last year with the Raptors. He had multiple games where he missed, for load management. So this is not something that's new. This ain't something that we just now finding out about. Kawhi Leonard beats to his own drum. And this is one of those situations as well. He might not want to fly down to Orlando with his team. He might want to fly on his own charter flight, the Kawhi Leonard charter flight. So I'm not going to sit there and make a huge deal that he's not down there with them at the start of the bubble and the playoffs and so forth. I'm going to make a big deal about it once he really, really misses playoff games. If I'm the Clippers and if I'm Doc Rivers and Steve Ballmer, the owner for the Clippers, I won't make a huge deal about Kawhi Leonard's health until he starts missing key playoff games.
So So he played 60. Okay, to be exact, he played 60 games for the Toronto Raptors, 60 out of the 82 games. And quick question: you know, it's 8 games in his play-in bubble. How many games you think he should play in out of that 8 games?
I'll say maybe 5. He don't have to play in every single game. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I say maybe 5. He don't have to. I don't expect him to play in every game in these 8 games before the playoffs officially start. Do you?
I feel. Here's my thing. Kawhi, like you said, he's been off. He's been off for 5 months. He's been off for 5 months in this pandemic. You had all the time to heal from your past injuries, even from your recent injuries. Hell, you couldn't even got a surgery in for this period of long time. And my thing is this: I feel like for this flow of the game, for what the Clippers has done, they are resting him and getting him prepared for the playoffs, because he probably can't really play a full 82 game because he probably has some still lingering injuries. I mean, he played almost 82 games for the Spurs, like what, in his first 6 seasons, like what, like he played. He's capable. He's capable of playing 82 games, but like you said, this is a play-in 8 game bubble. 8 games in a bubble. Do you really need Kawhi Leonard for all 8 games? Absolutely not.
No.
But at the same time, he still need to make his presence known that, hey, we have been off for a very long time, and I'm healthy, and I'm in mid-season form. That's what's more important. Is he in mid-season form, or he's not even in shape? Because when the playoffs, they gonna start coming real fast. So when they get here, he has to be in mid-season form. I mean, his numbers look ridiculous. His numbers look good. Well, almost 27 points, 7 assists, and 7 rebounds, and 5 assists a game. That's pretty. Like we know what he's capable of, but his injury health concern can be a little problem, because you want to know how far he can really go without having no injury problems.
Yeah, I understand where you're coming from on that. But I was going to say this as well. Even if the season didn't shut down, Clarence, do I believe Kawhi Leonard was going to be playing game 76, 77, 78, 89? Do I believe he's going to be playing game 80, 81? 80? No. Even if the season hadn't shut down, Kawhi wasn't going to play the last 10 straight games. He wasn't going to do that.
At least 60 games.
No, I know.
At least 70 games. At least 60.
What I'm saying is, though, we were already 3/4 halfway through the season, and we were at games. If I don't even remember the exact number that the Clippers had played, the amount of games, but he wasn't going to play every single game the last 10 games. You see what I'm saying? He might have played 5 or 6 of those games, but Doc Rivers would have sat him out to relax and gear up for the playoffs. I didn't see a situation where he would have played all 10 of the last regular season games, even if the NBA hadn't shut down. But I will say this: I think LeBron would have. Because I think LeBron was in go mode. Like he had his foot on the gas pedal. They were going straight to the playoffs, and they were firing on all cylinders. You know, they had beat the Bucks and the Clippers in that weekend series in LA. So I think LeBron would have kept his foot on the gas pedal and went right into the playoffs, playing most of the games down the stretch. But I don't see Kawhi Leonard doing that, and I don't see him doing it once they return to the bubble later on in July.
I feel what you're saying, though, because health is the number one thing in sports. If you're not healthy for anything, then you're losing luck on everything you could earn in that single season or for the future. And okay, let's move on to the next question. So if the LA Clippers did win a championship, like what does a championship do for Kawhi's legacy?
I believe it would make him start to be in that conversation and being maybe one of the top, 20 or 30 NBA greats. You know what I mean? Because he's obviously the best two-way player we have in the NBA. And it would be his third NBA Finals MVP with the third different team. He won one with the Spurs, he won one with the Raptors, and this one will obviously be one with the Clippers. But I think he'll start to, elevate himself into that conversation amongst the top NBA greats. But do I believe he'll get into that conversation with LeBron or Kobe or Jordan? I do not. And I'm going to tell you why. The biggest issue that I have with Kawhi Leonard, although he is great, and again, he's one of the best two-way players in NBA history. He's the best two-way player we have in the NBA right now. And like I said, the way his game has elevated throughout the course of his career. You remember, Clarence, when he first came into the league, he was great on defense, but his offensive game improved throughout the years as he got older. He got better offensively as his career went along. At first, he was just a great defensive player.
Yeah.
But he's gotten better offensively. And I give him credit for that. But I think where we're going to diminish his legacy is the fact that we discuss load management. When we talk about LeBron James and Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan, one of the reasons why we applaud them and give them the credit that we do as far as being NBA greats and being icons is because they showed up every single night to play. It wasn't many games that that Kobe or MJ or LeBron has taken off. They always show up night in and night out. That's the main priority that you have to prioritize when you're an NBA superstar. It's not just about your talents. It's not just about you basically getting the money and the fame. It's also about showing up and giving the fans what they want to see. And that's why I believe we're going to diminish Kawhi Leonard's legacy based on the fact that he doesn't show up every night to play. And he has these nights where has load management next to his name and he has DNPs. So that's why I feel like overall his legacy will take a hit.
I think for the championship, if he brings another championship into his legacy, I think it will put him like literally probably top two player in the NBA, in my opinion, even probably over KD. Like,
no, I disagree with that. But wait, over KD?
Look, my thing is this: Kawhi Leonard is a better leader than KD. He is. He's a better field general than KD. He's a better defender. We knows that. And his IQ is like way out the charts than KD. So he already.
I disagree with some of that. But go ahead.
Here's the thing, though. For Kawhi Leonard, he had to groom to be a leader. And that's what he did in San Antonio. They groomed him into be a leader because they see all the superstar traits that he had, and they can believe he could have took it to the next level. But I think if Kawhi would if he bring a championship to the LA Clippers, I believe that he's setting the new wave for the next generational player. For one, you're doing load management. You're not playing all 82 games, but you're staying intact. So you can be able to be available for all games. I'm just saying, available for all games.
Yeah.
And it's another thing. If you got all the talent you in the world and you're the best at your position, then you go out there and ball out, which he always does. He's always one of the main leaders. He's always one of the main leaders in score, and his assist numbers is going up. And his rebounds are very, very, I can say effective. And you remember, he got his first triple-double in his career this season. So you see the development in his game that's making him better. And do I believe that can be enough to lead to a championship team? Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. But I got a question for you.
Right.
When you talk about his leadership, I do agree with you that, he is a leader and he leads in a different way because he's not very vocal from what we see. On the outside looking in, Kawhi Leonard is not vocal like LeBron James or like a Michael Jordan was or like a Kobe Bryant was. He's more quiet in how he goes about his leadership style. But I wanted to ask you a question. We're talking about Kawhi's legacy, not where he'll be ranked as far as NBA players today. You said if he was to win a championship with the Clippers, you would probably rank him in that top 2 NBA players in the NBA today. What about his legacy? We're talking about overall, comparing to other NBA greats. How will if another championship gets added to his resume, how would that affect his legacy?
That would actually put him in the top 30 with all the greats because what he brings to the table. And bringing in another, I'm going to say that if he wins another championship, he's obviously going to get the Finals MVP. He's going to be in them talks about the most Finals MVP than Shaq, Tim Duncan, LeBron James, even Michael Jordan. He's going to get in them talks. He's going to be in them talks because they see his game going up. And I truly believe if he bring in another title, Hell, and bring in 2 titles or bringing this title, this would make him probably would be in them conversation with LeBron and Michael Jordan and Kobe.
He can never be in a conversation with Kobe, LeBron, and Jordan.
I wouldn't say never. I'm not gonna say never.
Okay.
I will say this: he see greatness in his way. He's on his way to being a successful basketball player, as he already is. He's a multi-superstar. He's a big superstar in the league. He's a top 5 player in the league.
I agree.
But think of this though: if he add on another NBA championship onto his resume, that's another ring in LeBron James era, and then you can just be like, man, Kawhi Leonard, man, he might actually be better than some of these greats back in the day. He might be. I could put him over Charles Barkley. I could put him over Charles Barkley. I could put him over Penny Hardaway.
What? Yeah. Wait a minute. Wait. Because listen, see, that's where we go wrong. Don't get me wrong. Does championships matter? They do matter. But also it matters as far as individual accomplishments. I love Kawhi Leonard in this game and how his offensive game has developed into being one of the top 5 players in the NBA. But let's not forget, Kawhi Leonard has never won an NBA MVP in his career. And again, he doesn't play 82 games. What is your best ability? Go ahead and finish the sentence for me. What is it?
The best ability for him?
No, the best ability is availability. You have to be available for your team. Like I said, what made Jordan, Kobe, and LeBron so great and what we admire about them as players is the fact that they showed up night in and night out, and they gave the fans what they wanted to see. That's what we want. We want to see the NBA stars playing at a high level. And I think we're going to, when we look back on his career, let me finish. I'm almost done. When we look back on Kawhi Leonard's career, after it's all said and done, I believe we're going to diminish some of his accomplishments because of the fact that he didn't play all 82 games and he didn't show up every single night.
That's not going
I'm not saying he won't be an all-time great. I'm not saying that he won't be an all-time great. Okay, yeah.
But diminish his career because he didn't play all 82 games?
Not career. Hold on. Not career. I would diminish some of his accomplishments, and I would say, okay, your legacy, you're a great player. You're one of the all-time greats. But do I see you like I look at Kobe, like I look at Jordan, like I look at LeBron? You can never be in that conversation if you're not playing all 82 games and not winning NBA regular season MVPs.
Okay. Here it is. Hear me out. If he wins another title, if he wins another NBA title this year, I will put him over Kevin Durant. I will put him over Kevin Durant.
No.
Look, regardless he doesn't have no league MVP, he come in day out in the playoffs, shows up in the playoffs, play all 16 games. That's how much it is in the playoffs. I can't put a number on there, but he comes and shows up in the playoffs. He leads his team with dignity, work ethic, and leadership. That's something that Kawhi Leonard carried all his career, all his season. I truly believe if he bring another title, it will put him over. It will put him over the tallest with Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant still has something to prove.
The only reason that Kawhi Leonard won the championship last year was because Klay Thompson got injured in Game 6. No, that's not a lie. The only reason that he won, so wait a minute. So they would have beat a healthy Golden State Warriors team last year. They would have beat the loaded Warriors last year. Yes,
already losing. They was already losing that series.
No, I'm asking you. Let's say Kevin Durant and Klay Thompson never got injured. Would the Raptors have won a championship last year?
Oh, nah. I would have definitely said that. But
they would have gotten swept.
Not swept.
With the healthy Golden State Warriors team, they would have got swept.
Nope. I don't want to say swept. I say probably like 5 or 6 games.
No. Okay, we disagree. But listen, here's what's so funny. Even without Kevin Durant, before Klay Thompson got injured, you remember the Warriors was winning Game 6. Before he got injured, I believe the Warriors would have went on to win Game 6 in Oracle because he got injured in the third quarter. They would have went on and won Game 6 and finished off the Raptors in 7 in Toronto. And Drake wouldn't have been able to celebrate like he did had the Warriors not Had the word. I'm sorry. I'm talking. I had Klay Thompson not get injured. That's what I'm saying, basically.
Oh, can I ask you something?
Without Kevin Durant, yeah.
Let me ask you something. Do you always hear the talk? Game one tells it all. Like, did you ever heard that before? Game one tells the series, how a series gonna go.
Okay, so
yeah, okay. The point is that Toronto had the momentum in game one. Hell, all season, Golden State didn't have no answer for Kawhi Leonard, Kyle Lowry, Frank Van Vliet, Marc Gasol, Serge Ibaka.
Who? Man, you talking about? Man, stop. Kyle Lowry, all his playoff failures went up against LeBron. Don't even bring him up.
Kyle Lowry was great in this series.
He was great in the same sentence as Kyle Lowry. He wasn't great.
He's the top 10 point guard. He's the top 10 point guard in the league.
Fred Van Vliet outplayed Kyle Lowry in the finals last year. Stop it.
No,
Van Vliet did good.
If you watch Game 6, Kyle Lowry was great, and this actually proved that Golden State was not hard to beat. You just have to figure out how you can beat them, and once you figure out how to beat them, you counter every move in them, and you start taking over.
Talking about they not hard to beat. So you telling me it took for two of their top 4 players to get injured to beat? That's not hard. It's not hard to beat them.
They took that.
If you just admitted that if Klay Thompson and Kevin Durant were both healthy, that the Warriors would have beaten the Raptors, then that means that they are hard to beat at full strength. They're hard to beat. You can't beat them unless it's an injury.
Listen to it. When they lost KD in the second round, and honestly, that was their ship started sinking. It started sinking because I felt like KD made them a super team, and he made them powerful on the scoring side. And Steph Curry was struggling all through that playoffs. Klay Thompson was playing the sidekick as it is. So when they was going to the final, they didn't have all the confidence. They were seeing when KD was coming back, and KD only came back 10 minutes, scored 11 points.
Okay, so if Steph Curry was struggling so much after Kevin Durant got injured, how did Steph outplay Dame in the Western Conference Finals? Because I'm a Dame Lillard fan. Steph outplayed Dame in the Western Conference Finals last year.
Steph and Klay outplayed.
No,
Dame.
It was Clay. Clay contributed, but it was mostly Steph. Steph had 40 in game 1 and game 2. But let me say this real quick. Let's move on. I want to say this before we move on. I think that Kawhi Leonard, he's going to be an all-time NBA great once his career is said and done. And I think he's going to go down in the top 50 greatest players of all time, at least. That's just at least bare minimal. But again, when we're at the end of his career and we talking about his legacy and how it compares to other NBA greats like Kobe, like Jordan, like LeBron, I think we're going to diminish some of what he accomplished and look at his legacy and say, man, all that load management, you got to show up and you got to ball out for the fans. That's what we want to see, and that's what the paying customer is paying to see. We're not paying to see Serge Ibaka and Fred Van Vliet. We're paying to see Kawhi Leonard, Kevin Durant, and LeBron James and Kobe Bryant and MJ, all the superstars.
That's what you want to see, man. Let's be honest. That's what you want to see.
Everybody want to see the superstars. Let's move on.
All right. Now we're moving on. So early in the week, the Cincinnati Bengals offensive coordinator Brian Callahan stated that they're trying to get enough out of Joe Burrow, see what they can get out of him, basically. So my question for you though, Trey, because I'm a Bengals fan. I got my Bengals cup. Who they till I die.
Yeah.
I want your honest opinion. Can Burrow, do you really think Burrow can lead the Cincinnati Bengals back up to the top of the AFC North?
Hell no. No, it's not going to happen. And by the way, let me go ahead and let everybody know. Go and follow Wise Guys on Twitter at WiseGuys_Wait. It's also on Instagram at These Guys Know Sports. And also on Facebook, Wise Guys. We live on the Worldwide Sports Network. Just for the context purposes of this conversation, let me let everybody know what's really going on here. My co-host, Mr. Clarence Nixon, all year long, he was gloating about Joe Burrow and how Joe Burrow is going to get drafted by the Bengals, number 1 overall, and he's going to be this Hall of Fame quarterback. Let me let everybody know now that my co-host, Mr. Nixon, believes that Joe Burrow is on the first ride to Canton. Let's go ahead and start up the car And let's start up the Joe Burrow for Canton train right now, because you, my friend, believe that Joe Burrow is going to be a Hall of Fame quarterback, and he hasn't even had an NFL snap yet, which is utterly amazing to me. It amazes me how you have this belief that Joe Burrow is going to be so great, and you just forget about all these years with that abysmal franchise that you call the Cincinnati Bengals. And I know I'm from Cincinnati. Everybody knows we here local in the Cincinnati area. I'm a Packers fan, but I do feel bad for some of my fellow Bengal fans like you who continue to keep suffering and getting duped into believing that Mike Brown is trying to help the Bengals and position the Bengals to be a winning franchise. Listen, do I believe Joe Burrow is going to lead the Bengals to the top of the AFC North? There's no way in hell it's going to happen. And let me tell you why. Because this year, Big Ben, he's going to be returning back to the lineup. And when Big Ben and Mike Tomlin are both, active and the Steelers are making moves and doing things, I believe the Steelers are still a top 2 team in the AFC North, because we've seen the Steelers be a consistent AFC contender for multiple years. Also, when you look at Lamar Jackson, the reigning 2019 NFL MVP, coming off a 36 touchdown, just 6 interceptions season. The Ravens, they have one of the top rosters in the NFL, and they also have one of the easiest schedules heading into next season as well. Cleveland Browns, we know they have great talent from top to bottom. Say what you want about the Cleveland Browns. The Cleveland Browns, their roster is one of the best that we have in the National Football League. Therefore, I believe Joe Burrow and your lowly Bengals will be at 4th in the AFC North this upcoming season, and also for many years to come. I don't see Joe Burrow digging your Bengals out of this hole that they've been in for the last few seasons. It's just not going to happen because he has too much to overcome.
I can expect that from a non-Bengals fan. You're not a Bengals fan, so you can't relate to what we're happy and excited about. People outside of the Bengals fans keep stating that we're overhyping this Burrow guy, and doesn't realize that we're excited that we got a brand new franchise quarterback, and there's a new sheriff in town to take over the quarterback spot. And how come this is a problem when we all want to be happy about it? And I think, Trey, I know you don't watch the Bengals enough, but I really think you don't really be doing your film on what the Bengals had done over this offseason. They spent over $120 million on their defense, and the defense came with Von Bell, DJ Reader, Mackenzie Alexander, Trey Waynes, and more, Josh Vines. And look, the Bengals are in the toughest division in the league. I give you that. That's the toughest division in the league. In my opinion, that's a hard-nosed, tough division in the league. And the situation that Burrow is getting himself into, that when you're in a tough division, you gotta, like you said, availability has to be important for you, because if you're missing a division game, that's going to affect your team. That's going to affect the team. It's going to affect your organization. It's going to affect the city. It's going to affect them. And here's the thing about Cleveland. I'm going to be real honest with you. I'm a Bengals fan, and I'm a realist at the same time. I'm a sports fan second. I know the Cleveland Browns, they got a nice setup up there. They really do got a nice setup up there. And I'm scared for the fact that they might sneak up and try to take over and try to take over and make the playoffs. If they make the playoffs, the AFC North, the race is going to be a mess, because now Cleveland's involved now. And that's what we expected. But if they get involved, it's going to make everything more frustrating, because Cleveland Browns is finally coming out the hole. But do I believe Joe Burrow can lead us back to the AFC North? Of course. I truly believe that, because we had the last division last AFC division we won was 2015. That was almost 5 years ago. 5 years ago, we was what, 2010, 2015, we was making the playoffs 5 straight years. We was trending in the right direction. We were a successful team that everybody in the media describe us as. It just, at the same time, Cincinnati is not a good place. People think it's not a good place, and it's a small market city. So people are not going to take the risk on Cincinnati because it's a small market city. For Burrow, he's walking into a perfect situation. If you're talented
What's
enough,
perfect about it?
what's perfect about it is that
Yeah.
what's perfect about it is that we're finally getting a winner at quarterback. We're drafting number one again. We drafted another quarterback at one again. The last time we drafted someone at one was Carson Palmer, and we know how that situation goes. When he got injured in 2005, and our playoff hopes was doomed. And now that we drafted Joe Burrow, all we have to do is be excited and supported for him. We got to be what?
No, I was like, so if Joe Burrow is so great, why did Joe Burrow have to transfer from Ohio State to LSU? Why did he have to leave? He couldn't even get a starting job at OSU.
He didn't lose his start as a talent. Let's clear.
I'm just asking you. You saying he's been so great. He had one great year. Let's call it what it is. And he was throwing the ball to studs. Justin Jefferson, Ja'Marr Chase, and then he had Clyde Edwards in the backfield.
Look, I'm going to just say this. At Ohio State, he broke his wrist, and he decided to transfer, which I thought was the best thing for him to do because you're not going to come back from a broken wrist and think you're going to win the starting job, especially over JT Barrett. That's Urban Meyer's guy. That was definitely his guy. So I can see the favoritism, but we're not going to get into that. So when he transferred to LSU, which was another great situation because LSU lacks the quarterback play, and he fits right in. He just put the hard work in. He got better in his first season being the starting quarterback. He did struggle, but that following summer he got better, and his work ethic came brilliant, and he started working hard, and boom, greatest season ever from a quarterback. Now,
right, 1 year wonder.
Listen, it's a lot of 1 year wonders that's in the league that became successful. So we're not going to get into that list one more time. But the thing is that everybody is not worried. Nobody complaining about his talent. They complain about the city of Cincinnati. People don't like the Bengals. You don't like the Bengals. You hate them.
I don't care. Listen, stop saying that I don't like the Bengals. No, because I'm tired of them having my family and friends suffer. Don't tell me I don't like the Bengals. I am tired of them having people like you suffer year in and year out. Listen, the Bengals is a dysfunctional franchise. And if Mike Brown is the owner, the Bengals will never win a Super Bowl. And let me tell you something else.
I can bet you in the next 5 years, the Cincinnati Bengals will win a playoff game. All because when you
a playoff game. Okay, but that's what I was about to say.
That's the first step. That's the first step.
You know what's so funny? During the Marvin Lewis era, as much as Marvin Lewis did as far as changing the culture and having the Bengals at the top of the AFC North for multiple years and being legitimate contenders in the AFC, they never even won a playoff game under the Marvin Lewis stewardship. Like, they never even won a playoff game. And you sit up here, you want me to believe in Zach Taylor? What the hell has Zach Taylor proven? Nothing. Zach Taylor has proven absolutely nothing. And the only reason he got the job is because he was one of the coaches that was on Sean McVay's staff. Sean McVay has gotten a few coaches jobs in the NFL. Not that they necessarily deserved it, but he got them jobs because they had success as an overall staff. But Zach Taylor isn't proven. He hasn't done anything to make me believe that he can turn around this Bengals franchise that has been in for multiple years.
That leads into our next question. So what do you, in your own opinion, what do you expect from his second season? Not
much because of the competition that you're going to be going up against in the AFC North. We just talked about the reigning MVP and Lamar Jackson. He's going to be returning back to the field. And I think the Baltimore Ravens, they legitimate Super Bowl contenders. Pittsburgh Steelers, they bring back Big Ben Roethlisberger coming off an injury last year. We got to see what he has left in the tank. But I believe Mike Tomlin is one of the best coaches we have in the NFL. And he had the Steelers within one game making the playoffs last year with nobody's at quarterback. You look at the Cleveland Browns. They have one of the top rosters in the NFL from top to bottom, and they also brought in Kevin Stefanski. I think they're going to be a much improved football team, and I like their offense with Baker Mayfield at the quarterback position. You got Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt in the backfield. You still got Odell and Jarvis Landry on the outside at the receiver spots. So I believe the Browns also are the third best team in that division. So therefore, I don't really expect much from Zach Taylor and the Bengals this year.
Baker. You think Baker is going to be better than Burrow down the stretch
this year?
I'm just saying down the stretch.
I don't know what you mean by down the stretch. Be clear.
Like in a couple years, and if you can plant the next 5 years, which is Baker gonna be probably in his 8th season, Burrow's gonna be in his 5th season. So, do you truly believe Baker Mayfield is gonna be better than Burrow?
That's a good question, because I still got my questions about Baker Mayfield as well. If Baker Mayfield don't get it done this year with the Browns, I'm not so sure if Baker Mayfield is going to be in Cleveland much longer.
Yeah,
because he's had all these coaches and he hasn't gotten it done. At some point, there's no more excuses to be made. You're the problem, Baker. You got all these weapons on the outside, and Jarvis Landry, Odell Beckham. You had all these coaches fired, and Freddie Kitchens, and so all these guys getting, and Hugh Jackson also got fired as well. So you're getting all these coaches fired. At some point, we're gonna have to place the blame on your shoulders. I'm not so sure if Baker is even going to be in Cleveland for the next 5 or 7 years. But I will say this: I believe in Kevin Stefanski more than I believe in Zach Taylor. So I think the Browns are going to be in a better position in the next 5 years compared to your Bengals.
All right. Let's move on, guys. So Trey, man, earlier in the week, an anonymous coach has stated that Ezekiel Elliott is the 11th best running back in the league. Are you kidding me? The 11th best running back in the league. Do you believe Zeke is not a? Do you believe Zeke is top 10 running back?
Yes, for certain, he's a top 10 running back. And whoever this anonymous GM is, I wish he'll go ahead and let us know who he is. Don't remain anonymous. I hate these anonymous quotes from these anonymous people. We want to know who you are. Put your name on it. Ain't that what Herm Edwards said? Put your name on it. I want to know who in the hell believes that there are 10 running backs currently better than Ezekiel Elliott. But I think the issue is Ezekiel Elliott had a down year last year, Clarence, because the Dallas Cowboys, they trailed in a lot of games last year. So Ezekiel Elliott got taken out of the game plan. If Ezekiel Elliott is taken out of the game plan, that means more than likely the Dallas Cowboys are trailing early in football games. You remember the game last year when my Packers played the Cowboys in Dallas? We were up at one point 31-3. That means Ezekiel Elliott won't be a part of the game plan. You got to drop Dak Prescott back to throw the football to get back into the game. So I believe that because Ezekiel Elliott was taken out of the game plan, people are forgetting the caliber of player that Ezekiel Elliott is. I want to know 10 running backs that are better than Ezekiel Elliott. Name them. Because I think it's crazy to say he's the 11th best running back in the league.
Yeah,
Stop it.
Ridiculous.
Stop it. I wish this anonymous GM would tell us who he is so we can expose him on Wise Guys on the Worldwide Sports Network, because he is completely wrong and his football IQ should be in question.
Yeah, I agree with you right there, man. I 100% agree with you right there. This anonymous coach saying this crazy talk, it just made me think, like, do you actually evaluate players and their success in years they've been playing? And let me just say this. I don't even believe Zeke had a down year. 2019, 300 rushes for 1,300 rushing yards and 12 rushing touchdowns. That's still an all-pro stat right then and there. Like, getting over 1,300 yards in back-to-back seasons, like, that is something, like, work ethic is off the charts. This is ridiculous. Like, this is ridiculous. Even the year in 2017 when he got suspended for 6 games, but he played in 10 games, he was still productive with 243 rushes and almost 1,000 yards. What? 17 yards off 1,000 yards? Like, I just don't understand these people evaluations when they talk about these players is the 11th best, 12th best, whatever. In 56 games, Ezekiel Elliott rushed for 5,405 rushing yards and have 40 rushing touchdowns. That's the most in his draft class, 2017. That's the most in his draft class, 2017. Those 40 touchdowns is ridiculous, Trey. 40 touchdowns that what he can bring to the table. I think the people put him at 11th place is because, like you said, the Dallas Cowboys game plan him out of their. They didn't bring him into their game plan, and they didn't like put him more involved into the game plan. They didn't put him involved into the game plan. They were so worried about Dak Prescott having a brilliant season, which he had a good season. It wasn't average or decent. It was a good season. I'll say it was a good season. that what he had. But Ezekiel Elliott is like the workhorse of this team.
Right.
This guy right here is the backbone of this team right here. Without Zeke, this Cowboys team ain't successful.
No, I completely agree with you. And I'm thinking about last year. The only 3 running backs I can say definitively had a better season than Ezekiel Elliott last year is Christian McCaffrey, Saquon Barkley, and Derrick Henry. And Derrick Henry emerged in the postseason. He balled out in the playoffs, but he had a nice season last year. But those are the only 3 running backs I can say for sure had better years than Ezekiel Elliott. And that's just off the top of my head. Christian McCaffrey, last year. Christian McCaffrey, Saquon Barkley, and Derrick Henry. Who else?
Nick Chubb. I would give him that. Dalvin Cook.
Last year?
If we talk about last year, Dalvin Cook was the main force for the Vikings. Like
he was. Okay, I got another name for you. Do you think Aaron Jones had a better year than Ezekiel Elliott?
Believe it or not, he did. He had 18 rushing touchdowns straight. 18 rushing touchdowns.
Yeah.
That's the most since a Green Bay Packer. Who was the last time that had them type of numbers? What, Ahman Green?
Ahman Green, yeah.
Come on now.
Yeah.
Let me be real honest. He was more involved in the Packers offense than Zeke was with the Cowboys. Because, believe it or not, Aaron Jones was like the next receiver for Aaron Rodgers.
After Devontae, he was. Right.
I can name so many, though. I can name Chris McCaffrey, Dalvin Cook was great for them because he was the engine of the Vikings. Derrick Henry, he was just the Tennessee Titans. He was the Tennessee Titans whole team.
Saquon?
No, I can't even say Saquon because Saquon last year, he only had like 600 rushing yards because he had that broken ankle. Remember that messed up?
Right. That's right. Yeah, because I don't got no notes today. So yeah, but I want to say this real quick. Just because they had better seasons don't mean they overall better than Ezekiel Elliott. Like Aaron Jones might have had a better season than Ezekiel Elliott last year, but Ezekiel Elliott is still better and more proven than Aaron Jones.
Yeah,
but I just think it's disrespectful to have Ezekiel Elliott ranked out of the top 10 on any running back list. Like, what are we even doing here? Like, why do you even evaluate and watch the games?
Why?
Like, what?
He's a top 5 running back in the league. He's a top 5 running back in the league. That's someone that you would never should leave out. Hell, if it was Todd Gurley, I'd say, he probably jumped out the top 5, possibility top 10. He probably his number dropped because production last year was not the best. He didn't even have he didn't even put up a 100-yard rushing game. Like, that's right there. That could have been better. That Todd Gurley could have been number 11. He could have been number 11, to be honest.
Yeah. Let's move on and let's talk about the Sixers for the last segment of the week on the Wise Guys show on the Worldwide Sports Network. Joel Embiid said he's not a big fan of the NBA coming back to play in the bubble, and he's not confident enough that everyone will follow the proper protocols. So does Joel Embiid have a point here?
I agree. But here's my point, though. If you wasn't comfortable with the protocol and you felt like that the NBA is really not going to take care of these players and make sure they go through the procedures of the protocol, you could have opt out the season, in my opinion. Because I feel like, why complain about something when you about to play in it? You about to play in that bubble. And if you feel like that it's too dangerous to play in, then you should have all rights to opt out. You should have opt out this season.
I think this is Joel Embiid basically telling on himself. He can't trust himself. That's what he's talking about. I agree with him that not everyone is going to follow the protocols in the bubble. But I think he's one of those individuals who will bend the rules a little bit. I think he's talking about himself here, Clarence, more so than everyone else. But I want to get to the second question on this Sixers topic before we close the show for the week and go into the weekend. The second question is, before we get out of here, are the Sixers legitimate championship contenders?
Believe it or not, I can't believe I'm saying this, but the team the top 3 teams in the Eastern Conference that are legitimately playoff contenders is the Milwaukee Bucks, Boston Celtics, and the Philadelphia 76ers. I can't believe that I am actually saying it because you get a caliber player in Joel Embiid. If he's healthy and he got his mind straightened out, that would be a big plus. If a Ben
Don't
Simmons,
you try to bring up that better than Embiid. You try to say Jokic's better than Embiid.
oh, Jokic is better than Embiid.
No, he's not. No, he's not.
But at the same time, Embiid is the best center in the Eastern Conference. He's the best center in the Eastern Conference. But he's the best in the Eastern Conference. So that gives him more valuable of, hey, he's good enough to lead his team to a championship, and I can bet on that. But here's the problem here. When Ben Simmons is not shooting the ball, that becomes a cancer. But I truly believe this Sixer team is a playoff contender, man. If they get their mind straight out.
No, not playoff contender, championship contender.
Oh, championship contender. If Brett Brown, like you said, he's one of Greg Popovich's old assistant coaches. If he get his mind together, I truly believe the Sixers can bring in the title.
I say no, they're not championship contenders. And I'm going to tell you why. Because I don't believe in the chemistry dynamic between Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons. Number one, I don't know what kind of shape Joel Embiid is going to be in after we had this 5-month layoff. I don't know how his conditioning is. I don't know if he's going to be able to get up and down the court at a fast enough pace. I'm not sure about Joel Embiid's overall shape. And I've always had questions about Ben Simmons' perimeter shooting. Ben Simmons does not shoot perimeter shots. That's my biggest issue with Ben Simmons. Until Ben Simmons can learn how to not even make, at least attempt perimeter shots, I don't think the Philadelphia Sixers are going to be championship contenders. And also, I got big questions about Brett Brown. I'm not sure if Brett Brown is the kind of coach that can lead the Sixers to a championship. But we got to go, and we'll be back on live next week on the Worldwide Sports Network on Wise Guys Sports. Clarence, before we get out of here, you got any big plans this weekend?
Yeah, I'm working on the weekend as usual, trying to get my shit together, and I'm hoping that it doesn't rain.
Okay. Before we get out of here, I want to give a big birthday shout out to Trey Mirror, my son. He's gonna be 7 years old tomorrow, man.
My God, he gets bigger, man.
He getting big, man.
Tell him happy birthday. I'm gonna FaceTime you, man, so I can say happy birthday to him.
FaceTime me, man. Trey Mirror gonna be 7 years old. He's excited tomorrow about his birthday. He's been calling me all week about it. So that's my weekend.
Yeah, he about to turn up. He said video games all night, junk food. Yeah, that's gonna be a good one right there.
Yes, sir. Man. Hey, man, Clint, have a good weekend, bro.
Yep. Hey, whoa, everybody, go follow Wise Guys on Facebook, Instagram, These Guys Know Sports, Twitter, Wise Guy 08, and subscribe to our YouTube page at Wise Guy. You are now watching Wise Guys on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. There you go, brother Trey.
Peace.
It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.